Welcome to Module 3 of Edge Academy. In this module, you will learn the essentials of merchandising etiquette, how to drive sales through stock health and on-shelf availability, how to drive sales through product placement. Ready? Let's dive in. Merchandising isn't just about stocking shelves, it's about creating a positive shopping experience that reflects well on you, your company, and the stores you work in. Let's go through some key rules. Respect the store environment. Treat store managers and staff with professionalism and follow their rules. Remember, you're a guest in their space. Focus on making shoppers happy. Smile, greet them warmly, and offer help willingly. Even if you don't know the answer to a question, never say, "I don't work here." Instead, find a store employee who can help. Remember, how you act affects the shopper's experience with both the store and your client, the manufacturer. Your role is crucial in making sure shoppers want to return. Safety and organization matter. Avoid overloading your trolley as this is dangerous and against the health and safety regulations. When packing a trolley, always pack the heavy items first, with the light boxes on top. Prevent hazards and obstructions like empty boxes or plastic wrap. If you see your trolley is blocking a shopper from getting to a shelf, quickly move your trolley out of the way and ask the shopper if you can help them with anything. I often see short people battling to reach the highest shelves in many stores. If you notice this, always approach the shopper and ask if you can help them. Keep shelves and stock clean. Shelves can get very dirty. That could be because of leaking bottles or damaged packaging. When you find this, always make sure your shelves are clean. Grab a bucket of clean water and a cloth, remove all products from the shelf and clean the shelves before restocking the shelves. Never leave damaged stock on the shelf. A customer will not buy an item that is damaged or dirty. Remove it from the shelf and place it in the returns locker. Learn about your products so that you can confidently advise shoppers. If you need extra space, always speak to the manager for approval. Stealing space can get you banned from the store, which could mean unpaid leave until your company can place you in another store. So let's rather not. Remember, every smile, every kind word, and every helpful action you take improves the shopper's experience and strengthens your reputation. Let's take a pause and do a pop quiz before we carry on with this module. Welcome back, students. In this lesson, we're diving into driving sales through stock health and on-shelf availability. For clients that do not use the EyeZone app, you will need to pull the store's daily sales reports. This is often very time-consuming, but it needs to be done. With the EyeZone Stock app, you have a powerful tool to optimize stock health, reduce out-of-stocks, and eliminate discrepancies, all at your fingertips. Ready to unlock your edge? Let's go! Let's start by learning some key terms. Out of stock, no stock on the shelf or in the storeroom, and none in the system. Phantom stock. Stock appears in the system but is missing. This could be due to theft, damage, or errors. Remember, until damaged stock has been processed, it will still reflect as stock in the system. So, always get damages processed as soon as possible. Negative stock. A negative balance in the system, often caused by cashier errors or unrecorded stock movements. With negative stock balances, there may or may not be stock in the store, which is why it will be important to double check. No sales. Products with 0 sales for 21 days. Listings. Products authorized for sale in specific stores. Let's see how the EyeZone Stock app helps you monitor and resolve stock issues during floor walks. Here's what to do in common scenarios. When it comes to out of stocks, first, check for a system order. If there's already an order in the system, you're good. No further action is needed. If no order exists but stock is available at the distribution center, ask the manager to place an order. If no stock exists in the DC, escalate the issue by posting a photo note for the key account manager. For phantom stock, if the system shows stock but the shelves are empty, check the returns locker. Damaged or expired items might be the sole cause. Never ask the manager to zero the stock before returns are completed. This will create negative stock, and the automated system won't reorder. Example, if the system says 5 and there are 5 damaged units, the correct action is to process the damages that will correct the count to 0, and the system will order. With phantom stock, check the storeroom, and if you are sure there is no stock in backup and on the shelf, ask the manager to correct the stock balances. Post a photo note to document the issue. Negative stock. Let's talk about why correcting negative stock is so important. When a product shows a negative stock balance, the automated ordering system won't place a new order, even if the shelves are empty. That means lost sales, frustrated shoppers, and a missed opportunity for your brand. When that happens, conduct a stock count and ask the manager to correct the system. This allows future orders and prevents the product from being discontinued. Let's chat about no sales. If a product hasn't sold for a while, there's usually a reason. Let's go through some of the most common ones. 1. The stock is still at the back and no one packed it onto the shelf yet. 2. The product is on the shelf, but it's packed badly. It may be hidden or messy, and shoppers don't notice it. 3. The stock on the shelf is damaged. No one wants to buy something that looks broken or dirty. Sometimes it's just a slow seller. Some products move slower than others. Your job is to spot these problems early and fix them so nothing goes to waste and the store keeps selling. While these displays are less structured, you need to pack them so that all labels can be seen by the customer. Products with no sales need your attention. Check that they're on the shelf, well merchandised, visible, and that the stock on shelf is not damaged. Customers will not buy damaged stock. If the stock is at the back and not on the shelf, restock the shelves and post a photo note. If there are any mismatches in the system, ask the manager to fix the stock count. When items aren't selling, let's make them stand out. Improve the display to attract more shoppers and boost interest. Listings for discontinued items. You will always know when a product is discontinued, as the PI label will note this. As soon as you see the discontinued label, do the following. Ask the manager if you can place them on a markdown table. If no markdown table exists, merchandise the items creatively and monitor their sales. Always remember not to leave discontinued products on the right side next to your competitor's products. If the discontinued item sells out, your competitor might take that space. Instead, move discontinued items to the middle of your display. This way, when they sell out, you can fill the space with more of your products. Stock health is the heartbeat of retail success. Remember, out-of-stock products can't sell. So, act fast. Phantom and negative stock distort the system. Correct them promptly. Keep products visible, available, and accessible to maximize sales. Let's take a pause and do a pop quiz before we carry on with this module. Now let's talk about how to drive sales through product placement. Did you know where you place a product can increase sales by up to 40%? Let's break it down. Merchandising is the presentation and promotion of goods in retail and wholesale. This includes the following: the shelf, display areas, secondary placements, signage. Let's break down the terms for fast-moving consumer goods, also called FMCG. Here's what you need to know. Block merchandising. As the name suggests, this is merchandising multiple facings across multiple shelves to create a visual block for your product. This is normally done for brands that are fast sellers. Vertical merchandising, also known as ribbon merchandising. This is where items are displayed vertically in columns. This is done to encourage shoppers to buy more products across the range. This is common with beauty products like shampoo. The stores will display conditioners, then below that shampoo, and below that they will display treatments. That way, the shopper is exposed to the full hair care range of a brand in one vertical display. Eye level. These shelves between a shopper's waist and eye height where a shopper neither needs to bend or stretch. These are the easiest shelves to access and see. Eye level is bi-level. So always try to place your products on these shelves. Place top selling products here. Remember to always make it easy for your shopper. Color breaks. Avoid placing similar color products next to each other to prevent confusion. Planograms. A planogram is a visual plan of how products should be arranged on a shelf. It shows exactly where each item goes and in what quantity, making sure the right stock is on the right shelf. While planograms have set guidelines, we have some flexibility in how we organize our space. Planograms often give equal space to different variants of a product without considering actual sales. For example, if Old Spice regular sells 14 units per week, but other variants sell only 2 units each, the planogram might suggest 2 facings for all. Instead, we can adjust it by giving 5 facings to the original and 1 to each of the others. We can also place the original on the left side of the display since it's the best seller. Category merchandising. This is when all products from the same category are merchandised together to make shopping easier, but it doesn't stop there. Categories are broken down into subcategories. Take hot beverages, for example. We split them into coffee, tea, hot chocolate, and Milo. Then we go even further into families. In coffee, you'll find pure coffee, mixed coffee, blended with chicory, 3-in-1 coffee with milk powder and sugar, and cappuccino. Each of these groups helps shoppers find exactly what they need, fast. Shoppers look at shelves like they read a book from left to right, first at eye level, because this is the easiest for them. After eye level, if they don't find what they are looking for, they will scan the shelves from top to bottom. For this reason, you always want to get your products at eye level and on the left of the category. This is not always possible when the store has planograms, but this will always be your goal. Here's a breakdown of how shelf positioning affects sales in a supermarket. Eye level shelves. Eye level is buy level. Products placed at eye level tend to sell the best because they are the first things shoppers see. Brands often pay for these premium spots. Kid level shelves. Products like cereals and snacks targeted at children are placed lower, so kids can see and influence purchase decisions. Top shelves. Typically used for premium or niche products that attract specific buyers who are willing to seek them out. Bottom shelves. Less popular, often used for store brand products or bulk items that don't need prime visibility. High traffic impulse buy areas are where small, high margin items like candy, gum, and magazines are placed. Because shoppers look at shelves from left to right, starting at eye level, plan and place your fastest selling brands to grab attention and increase sales. We pack the most expensive items on the left and the cheapest on the right, because we want the shopper to see the highest priced item first, and hopefully they will grab that. But this isn't just about rules or shelves. It's about you becoming the game changer in every store you step into. Let's recap your superpower toolkit. You're now a pro at creating shopping experiences that wow, building trust with every smile, and turning chaos into order with safety and style. You've got the know-how to place products like a strategist. Eye level is your battlefield, and sales are your victory. Ready for your assessment? Let's go!